Good evening. Good evening, Fighting Scots. On behalf of the Alumni Board and President Clarence Wyatt, welcome to the 2021 Alumni Impact Awards. We have missed filling the campus with alumni and friends. Thank you for coming home to help us celebrate the accomplishments of Monmouth College and her alumni. I am Hannah Maher, Vice President for Development and College Relations, and it is my privilege to begin tonight's program. Before we get to the award presentations this evening, we'd like to recognize some of our special guests who are in attendance. First, I would like to recognize the true visionaries of the institution, your Monmouth College Board of Trustees, whose servant leadership and support make our college vibrant and prosperous, ensuring Monmouth's future for many years to come. Trustees in attendance, would you please stand and be recognized? I would also like to introduce our Alumni Board. The Alumni Board are our true eyes and ears of our Alumni Association. The board has undertaken many initiatives over the past few years, and they will be around all weekend to make your homecoming very enjoyable. Members of our Alumni Board, would you please stand? Our emeriti faculty and staff, in addition to our current faculty and staff, continue to leave a lasting impact on the college. Because of their commitment to education and the success of each and every student, I'd like to recognize them this evening also. Would all emeriti and current faculty and staff please stand and be recognized? A weekend like this does not come together overnight. The good work and support of the entire campus community is involved, but let me acknowledge a few folks. Our food service and catering team, Aramark, our facilities and custodial staff, our partners in the communication office, who you will notice more fully as campus paparazzi this weekend, Director of Campus Events, Ryan Doyle, who arranges many events such as Homecoming Parade and ensures much of our AV technology is handled, and certainly the entire staff within the Department of Development and College Relations, especially Jennifer Armstrong, Jordan Sherby-Lencioni, and Sherry Brooks, who orchestrated so very much of this weekend. Will you please join me in showing your appreciation for all of these individuals? We also have many alumni here with us tonight celebrating a reunion. This is a double the fun in 2021 kind of homecoming, as we are celebrating last year's reunion classes as well. 16 classes are celebrating a milestone reunion this weekend. The classes of 1980, 1981, 1985, 1986, 1990, 1991, 1995, 1996, 2000, 2001, 2005, 2006, 2010, 2011, 2015, and 2016. As we all know, 2020 interrupted our lives in unexpected ways, especially for those who were celebrating a life milestone. While we were able to celebrate them virtually over a year ago, we are thrilled to host a commencement celebration for the class of 2020 on Sunday. The class of 2020 joins us here this weekend as both graduates and as one-year reunion alumni. I want to take the opportunity to invite you to join us for two other award ceremonies happening over the course of the weekend. Tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m., 3 important Fighting Scots will be inducted into the M Club Hall of Fame: Kathy Wagner, Peter Sprecher, and Justin Ziegler. During tomorrow's ceremony, we will also have a memorial dedication to Coach Tom Burek, who we lost to COVID last year. Also tomorrow at 11 a.m., 4 alumni will be inducted into the Order of Omega Fraternity and Sorority Hall of Fame. Luz Lauder Ruz, posthumous and 1949 graduate of Kappa Kappa Gamma. Mike Danner, a 1991 graduate of Alpha Tau Omega. Jeff Backer, a 1990 graduate of Zeta Beta Tau. And Gina Alcorn, a 1988 graduate of Kappa Kappa Gamma. We honor these Greek recipients for their service to their fraternities post-baccalaureate. We hope you'll plan to join us tomorrow for the official induction ceremonies as we recognize these outstanding alumni. I'd like now to welcome to the podium Mr. Andy Kerr, class of 1973 and president of the Monmouth College Alumni Board, to help us kick off our awards presentations.
Good evening. Our next portion of the program this evening is to recognize our outstanding alumni for their accomplishments outside of the hallways of Monmouth College. The first 5 recipients we are honoring tonight were nominated by members of the Alumni Association and voted on by our Alumni Board. Each year, the Alumni Board receives several quality nominations and has a very difficult time choosing the award winners. I want to thank the board for their diligence in making these tough decisions, and thank the board. And tonight's award winners can be especially proud to have been chosen from such a competitive list of nominations. The Alumni Board is responsible for making the final selection of our first 5 awards this evening: Family of the Year, Young Alumnus Award, Distinguished Service Award, Distinguished Alumnus Award, and the Hatch Award for Distinguished Teaching. At this time, I'd like to ask Mrs. Jen Armstrong, Director of Alumni Engagement, to come to the podium and introduce tonight's award winners.
Good evening. Years ago, a man whose name will be unfamiliar to most of you that graduated from Monmouth, but his influence led others who you have heard of to follow him here, most notably the legendary Bobby Wall. That influential, unofficial recruiter was John Oscar Firth, class of 1921. Through the years, there have been many individuals who've played the role of J.O. Firth. They form a family tree of sorts, passing on their love of Monmouth to the next generation, which passes it on to the next. In 1984, Byron Songeroth matriculated at Monmouth, and that set off a similar chain of events that's led to lots more Songeroths, as well as other students attending Monmouth. Perhaps the first person that Byron helped to attend Monmouth was his younger brother, Brock, who married his 1997 Monmouth classmate, Kimberly Martin. Brock and Kim are both longtime high school teachers in a popular in-state recruiting region for the college. Byron has also been a high school teacher in Illinois and retired this summer, having most recently served as a superintendent for the North Pekin-Marquette Heights School District. Byron and his wife, Susie, influenced the Monmouth decision of 3 other Songeroths, their sons Blake, Lucas, and Reed. Blake helped the family tree of referrals really sprout during his 2 years as a Monmouth admissions counselor. Susie and Byron continued to help the recruiting cause through their willingness to assist with the events and initiatives. Together, they helped establish Monmouth's Parent and Family Council, serving as liaisons to the parent community and to the administration. For their efforts to help Monmouth College, from admission to retention, from Alumni Board service to membership in the Loyal Scots Society for regular annual giving, the Songeroths have earned this year's Family of the Year Award. Accepting the honor on behalf of the family's behalf is Byron Songeroth.
Boy, it's great to be back on campus again, and it's great to see so many familiar foreheads and eyeballs. Unfortunately, I don't recognize that, so hopefully I'll see you outside later with your masks off. So I want to start by thanking Jen for that great introduction, and also thank her for all the work she did over the last few weeks, helping us and leading us up to this event tonight. It's been incredible, and we appreciate that. We also want to thank the Monmouth College and the Alumni Board for sponsoring this event. And in particular, we want to thank the individuals who thought that our contribution to Monmouth was worthy enough of recognition and chose to nominate us. When I look back at the past winners of the Family of the Year recognition, it's humbling to think that our family will now be included in that list of prominent names, some that are in Monmouth's history forever. It never crossed my mind as a freshman in 1984 that other members of my family would fall in love with Monmouth someday and make it their home too. I hope to see that legacy continue to grow in future years. When I served on the Alumni Board, we always talked about the Monmouth experience when describing a student's time on campus. It's been exciting to see other members of our family have that Monmouth experience. But I feel like the Monmouth experience hasn't ended after graduation for us because so many family members have attended. It just keeps living on. Monmouth has been the backdrop for so many great family memories over the last 38 years. In addition to the personal memories I have during my time on campus, we have so many family memories that are special to us, and I'll list a few. Monmouth is where my brother Brock developed his passion and honed his incredible art skills to become the artist and the teacher that he is today. During that journey, he met Kim, and it wasn't noted, but Kim was actually started off her first semester as a Knox College student before making the very wise decision to transfer to Monmouth for the rest of her career. Brock and Kim were eventually engaged on campus and later married in Galesburg, and although they didn't wear like Dr. Wilhart, they didn't wear kilts to the wedding, they did have bagpipes at that ceremony. Monmouth is also where our cousin Chris Sungrath became a three-time All-American shot putter, being inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame in 2013. His record was on the wall for 24 years, holding the outdoor shot put record until it was broken this past spring by All-American Drew Thaxton, who I think broke it 2 or 3 times along the way. He had a phenomenal season. And then obviously Monmouth is where Susie and I have had so many proud moments as parents watching our boys on campus, Blake, Lucas, and Reed, live out their Monmouth experience, competing on the soccer field or competing on the track, working in the admissions office, and making lifelong friends. Back in 2010, I was fortunate enough to be nominated to serve on the Alumni Board by one of my lifelong friends and Fighting Scott football teammate, Dan Cotter. The decade I spent serving on the board was a great opportunity for me to strengthen my relationship with Monmouth. My wife Susie was provided the opportunity to become engaged in 2017 when our oldest son Blake took a position in the admissions office after graduation, as Jen noted. We were soon invited to serve as parent liaisons at different orientation and admission events throughout the year. We were also invited to become founding members of Monmouth's Parent and Family Council. Even though Susie's a Bradley graduate, she jumped on the opportunity to help serve with admissions events and serve on the Parent and Family Council. This past spring, she even sat with me through 2 months of Sunday afternoon Zoom meetings, helping to provide a parent's perspective into the college's strategic planning process. She may not be a Monmouth alum, but I guarantee my wife bleeds tartan red. We have thoroughly enjoyed our opportunities to serve Monmouth College the last several years and always love our regular visits back to campus, especially so we can visit the new coffee shops and restaurants that have popped up in the last couple of years. I hope you get a chance to get out and visit those this weekend. But we truly love our opportunities to be able to give back and serve. Thanks again to Monmouth College and the Alumni Board for hosting this event, and from the Sungrath family, congratulations to all of tonight's honorees.
our next award recipient was the Distinguished Alumnus. He was, excuse me. Before our next recipient was the Distinguished Alumnus, he was a distinguished Fighting Scots student athlete. During his playing career at Monmouth, Alex Tanney set the NCAA All Divisions record for most touchdown passes, a record that still stands today. That would be right on par with saying the basketball player with the most points in NCAA history went to Monmouth, or maybe that the NFL quarterback with the most touchdown passes went to Monmouth. That would be Tom Brady, by the way. I mean, just think about that for one moment. The all-time top NCAA quarterback for touchdown passes played right here at April Thorne Stadium. Wow. Alex's accomplishments on the Monmouth gridiron are too numerous to mention now, but they all served notice, along with that viral trick shot video that he belonged in professional football. And he had a 9-year career as an NFL quarterback. Along the way, Alex picked up pointers from quarterbacks such as Tony Romo and Matt Cassell. His career reached its later stages. As his career reached its later stages, Alex was a veteran giving advice, in particular to the current New York Giants quarterback, Daniel Jones. Today, Alex has turned his lifetime of football lessons first learned at home from his father, Monmouth Hall of Famer Don Tanney, into a coaching role with the NFL Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are busy getting ready for Sunday's game in Las Vegas against the Raiders, so Alex can't be with us tonight to accept the Distinguished Young Alumnus Award, but he taped an acceptance speech that we'll play for you now.
Thank you for recognizing me as the Young Alumnus of this year's homecoming weekend. I'm sorry I'm unable to attend the ceremony, but I'm very appreciative of this honor and glad my parents could be there on my behalf. This award recognizes someone who has made significant accomplishments in their chosen field, and I am fortunate to say football is mine. My love for football started from a very young age, looking up to my 2 older brothers, Matt and Mitch, and other high school players my dad, Don, coached while Lexington High School. I'm thankful for the guidance my dad and brothers both provided me during my playing career, and I'm starting to learn a new respect for the work my dad put in while coaching. With that being said, my mom, Crystal, deserves a huge thank you for all the hours she put in, playing catch with me, feeding a house full of hungry boys, and driving me across the Midwest to sporting events when my dad was coaching. Both my parents instilled a work ethic in me that helped me reach the success I had during my football career, and many other important values of which I hope to instill in my 3 boys, Gunnar, Wyatt, and Barrett. In my time at Monmouth, I was fortunate to play on championship caliber teams, of which would not have been possible without the guidance of Coach Bell, Coach Brown, and Coach Ragone, along with a roster full of talent, making my job easy. My coaches and teammates all played an integral role in my development as a player and a person, and I'm thankful for their support and the continued relationships I have with them. In addition to those relationships I made on the football field while at Monmouth, I'm also grateful for all the professors and support staff who helped shape me into the person I am today during my 4.5 years on campus. Going to Monmouth was a memorable time in my life for many reasons. One very important one was meeting my wife, Rebecca. My playing or coaching career would not have been possible without the support or sacrifices she has made. She's been with me through the ups and downs of my career, whether it's moving halfway across the country or being away from each other for long periods of time. She's always been extremely supportive. My wife and I continue to feel support from the college and the Monmouth community when we host our annual Tackle MS charity camp, and for that we cannot be more thankful. Again, I'm honored to be chosen for the Young Alumnus Award for this year's homecoming event, and I'm appreciative of all that Monmouth College has done for myself and my family. One of my favorite quotes is, "Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do." For me, I love football, and I'm fortunate to continue to do what I love. Thank you again.
Our next award recipient literally wrote the book on Monmouth College. Around 20 years ago, Jeff Franken could be found working tirelessly on the manuscript that became A Thousand Hearts Devotion A History of Monmouth College, which was published to coincide with the sesquicentennial of the college in 2003. It wasn't Jeff's first time writing a sesquicentennial history, as he did the same for the city of Monmouth when it turned 150 years old in 1981. For that occasion, fresh out of college, Jeff Franken co-authored Born on the Prairie. Jeff hasn't stopped delving into the history of the city and the college, nor has he stopped covering current college events. In fact, Jeff is so committed to chronicling the life and times of Monmouth College that we sometimes have to pull his reins in a little bit. Otherwise, he'd want to photograph or video this entire ceremony rather than being one of the guests on it. Truthfully, it does seem Jeff is everywhere on Monmouth's campus, whether it's on the sidelines of the Fighting Scots football games, shooting video at an event in Dell Chapel, or running ahead to take unique photos at the new student walkout. It even seems he could be in two places at once, although it's possible that a few of those sightings can be attributed to his nearly identical twin, Doug, who's a member of our theater faculty. All kidding aside, Jeff does fabulous and fascinating work for Monmouth College, and he's been doing it now for nearly 30 years. I'm pleased to introduce him as this year's recipient of the Distinguished Service Award.
Greetings, Fighting Scots. It's wonderful to see you all here. We hope the weather continues to cooperate a little bit this weekend. It's been a long time coming for us who suffered through a year of COVID. Well, when I received word that I was to receive this year's Distinguished Service Award, it took more than a little while for that to sink in. As the college historian, my thoughts went immediately to the legendary Monmouth faculty of my youth who received the award. Among them, Sam Thompson, Hugh Beveridge, Eva Cleland, Adele Kennedy, Stafford Weeks, and Charles Spiel. There were also great presidents, Duncan Wimpress, DeVoe Freed, Bruce Haywood, and distinguished chairman of the board, Roger Fritz, Peter Bunce, David Bowers, Bill Goldsboro. It was all rather staggering. Then I looked up on my office wall at the framed Distinguished Service Award that was presented to my late father, Glenn Rankin, in 1977. That made me proudest of all. When I began working at Monmouth College in 1992, I thought about how he would have been pleased that I was working to help advance the college that he served faithfully for 29 years. And suddenly I realized that I too have now worked for Monmouth College for 29 years. For several of those years, I even occupied my dad's old office in the basement of the admissions building. I never dreamed that my efforts would one day be honored with the same award that he received. I am humbled, and I know that he and my mother, Anita, would be very proud. They were both wonderful, amazing role models, and I dedicate this award to them. I'd also like to dedicate it to my family for being supportive these many years, particularly when I had to work late or on weekends. Thank you to my wife, Terry, our kids, Amanda and Tony, and to my brother and sister-in-law, Doug and Tammy Rankin, and also special thanks to my granddaughter, Ari Kellum, who came from Peoria for this event tonight. Thanks also to my nominator and to the Alumni Board for their confidence in honoring me with such a special award. Although I did not graduate from Monmouth, I am, and always will be, a proud Fighting Scot. Thank you.
The nomination form for the recipient of up in a nice little bow. The nominator wrote, "In my opinion, Wendell Shaman is an outstanding representative of what a Midwestern farmer is. Yes, it's important to increase yields and to do so in an efficient manner. But Wendell does all that and much more, taking on local, state, and national leadership roles in the agricultural community, in addition to the daily operation of his 1,100-acre farm and his corn and soybean farm outside of town. Wendell has served the nation's agricultural community in several ways, most prominently in his role as chair of the U.S. Grains Council. During his 7 years on its board, he traveled to 36 countries, encouraging the foreign purchase of grains produced in the U.S. He's served on a plethora of other boards and committees, and I'll give you just a sampling showing the different levels that he's impacted. The United States Department of Agriculture Plant Variety Protection Board, the Illinois Corn Marketing Board, for which he served as chairman for 1 year, and the Warren County Farm Bureau Board. In 2015, Wendell was named an Eagle Award recipient, the Illinois Farm Bureau's highest award for agricultural industry advocates. Wendell has also been and continues to be a staunch advocate for Monmouth College. He's gone above and beyond his connection with his class of 1967 by keeping track of and engaging with classes 3 years ahead and 3 years behind. He's the glue that keeps us all together, wrote his nominator. Wendell also works with Monmouth's Sigma Phi Epsilon chapter, providing valuable networking opportunities. To tie it all together, Wendell is also an outstanding representative of what a Monmouth College graduate is, and I'm pleased now to present him with our Distinguished Alumnus Award.
A couple of corrections. By the way, thank you, Jen. Jen, I live close to town, so I can pester her a lot. She's a great reporter, so thank her for that. But it's not 3,000 graduates. That's what I thought you were going to say. It's only 38. That's not a lot. And for Jeff, I think I had all but one of those professors. I don't think I had Del Carnegie, but I had all the rest of them. So you hit me with some of that stuff. Thank Alumni Board for this honor. I was certainly surprised when I found out I was nominated. Payson Wild nominated me behind my back. I didn't know anything about it, but certainly thank you, Payson. I really appreciate the honor. It's one of the things I thought about is what's it mean? And you go, how many people? First, you have to be nominated. How many people deserve this award that will never be nominated? And you think of hundreds of people that graduated and how few have actually won it. So that makes it really a little more special. I know most of the recent graduates. Many of them have sent me notes of congratulations, and so that makes it special too to finally get into that group. I really appreciate that. And again, thank you, Payson, for nominating me. And then I have to thank my wife. I couldn't have done any of this without her being home with me to keep things going. She kept the ship afloat during the ugly 80s when we were farming and making a living was pretty tough. She went back to teaching math and kept us going. And now she's my chief combine operator, so she's very busy with a lot of things. A lot of Sigma brothers here, and some that were not my era, but it's still a lot of good friends, and I appreciate them being here. We sort of hunt for opportunities to get together, and this becomes one of them, and I'm certainly glad they're here. The SIGEP House is really important to me in my life.
Well, let me go back. Steve Bloomer asked a really good question a couple of years ago. He says, is there somebody at Monmouth College that really influenced your life? And it caught me flat-footed. I had to think about that. And my first thought was Dr. Thiessen, grand old man, head of the chemistry department, my first advisor. But that was, I was working with him much my freshman year. And I really decided there's two things that were really important. One was the SIGEP house, and the gentlemen that were in that all during my time there, both ahead of me and behind me. Excuse me. And the other was Jim Mock. He was president of the house 2 years ahead of me. He left Monmouth, went to Iowa State to work on a PhD in plant breeding. And I was getting to the stage where I'm a chemistry major, deciding, I don't know if I really want to stay in a lab the rest of my life. And so, long story short, Jay got me a job just working as day labor out there during the summer on a research project at Iowa State. I went, hey, this is pretty good. I'm a farm kid. I like this. It's better than being in a lab. Applied around, got accepted, got an assistantship from the University of Nebraska in plant breeding, and graduated in June, got married in August, and we were on our way. They paid you to go to school. They paid the tuition. It was a heck of a lot better deal than Monmouth offered. Some other friends I want to recognize. Ken McMillan put together a group probably 30 years ago. Senator Hart, Professor McMillan, Professor Lemon, and we've been together on and off and solving the world's problems for right at 30 years now. They're great friends, and they're all here, and I just want to thank them for all the time we've had together. I guess I'll close with Monmouth College really prepared me well to go to Nebraska, go to grad school, and get in really a totally different field. I was a farm kid, so I had some of the background, but didn't have any ag courses. But it really was, in many respects, it was easier at Nebraska than it was at Monmouth. So again, you have to give Monmouth credit for that. Close with we left after 4 years out there. We left with 4 degrees. We both had master's degrees. I had a PhD, and she had a PhD. Now, for those of you who don't know what a PhD is, that stands for putting hubby through. And it's granted by the WAGs, you probably also haven't heard of. That's Wise of Agronomy Graduate Students. So we probably have my PhD and her PhD hanging on our wall. So thank you very much for the award.
The fifth award we are presenting this evening is not awarded to a Monmouth College graduate, but rather to a member of our faculty who has had a significant impact on our graduates. To present the Hatch Award for Distinguished Teaching, please welcome Dr. Mark Wilhart, Dean of the Faculty and Vice President for Academic Affairs.
One of the truths about being an engaged, and I use that term in scare quotes, faculty member, and an irksome dean, I suppose, is that I've had some really great arguments with my peers over the years. Some of the best arguments I've had while I've been on the faculty and as dean have been with this year's recipient of the Hatch Award for Distinguished Teaching. A fierce advocate for pre-health students and the chemistry department she had chaired for more than a decade, Dr. Laura Moore also knows how to take a stand for an idea she loves, or against one she doesn't believe has much merit. Those would be most of mine. What I've always appreciated about Dr. Moore, though, is that no matter how explosively she might react to my position, and sometimes it's pretty explosively, she still listens hard to what I have to say, and then moves us both towards a position of understanding and compromise. These characteristics, sure opinions, careful listening, intelligent answering, and an ultimate desire to work together to make things better, are also what have made her such a valuable teacher and and research leader to generations of Monmouth College students. Dr. Moore joined our faculty in 2006, having done her undergraduate work at our fellow ACM school, Carleton College, and then did her graduate degree at Stanford. She honed her teaching at Illinois Wesleyan before starting her Monmouth College career. In addition to chairing the chemistry department, Dr. Moore was co-founder and continues to co-direct our summer opportunities for intellectual activities, SOPHIA, our pre-fall semester research experience for incoming and returning students. This program has been a smashing success since its inception in 2010, helping our faculty explore new projects and our students learn early all the reasons to love Monmouth. Dr. Moore's tireless advocacy for this program has helped it grow and mature into the benchmark of student engagement that it is. And Dr. Moore's advocacy for students is even more tireless than her work on SOPHIA. As our pre-health career advisor for years, she's helped dozens of students hone their paths to medical school, as well as into professional school in nursing, physician's assistant training, and various therapy settings. Her focus on getting her students both the courses and the experience and research on campus and off, which they will need to stand out in their applications as long as distinguished her advising. Moreover, there are few teachers as effective at explaining the complexities of biochemistry, a major to which she has devoted the rest of her considerable energies, and whose majors sing her praises year to year and generation to generation. A gifted teacher, a dedicated research leader, a legendary advisor. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Laura Moore as the 2021 recipient of the Hatch Award for Distinguished Teaching.
So I usually don't read my remarks, but when I teach, of course, but I have to stand time. So I am incredibly honored and excited to receive this award. I never thought when I came here 15 years ago as a visiting professor from another school that had rejected me, Illinois Wesleyan had rejected me, that I would receive an award for teaching. However, from the very beginning, it was clear that the academic community here would allow me to grow in my profession in ways that I had not had a chance before. In accepting this award, I would like to thank my faculty colleagues, the staff, the current students, and the alumni who also had a hand in the development of my teaching. Because without them, I don't think I would have learned what was important about educating students. The academic community here is what makes teaching and learning at Monmouth special. From the minute I set foot on campus, that was clear. I remember moving into my office in HT in the summer of 2006. I don't know if many of you remember what the old science building was like in the summer, because you probably weren't in it in the summer, but my memory is quite vivid. It was hot, it was humid, and it smelled weird. And yeah, the smell was the chemical stockroom, so yeah, I know that. Not many people were around because frankly you would want to be. However, the day I moved into my office, I have a clear memory of Doc Kieft, Pete Gebauer, and George Neiman, who had been retired for 3 years by that time, being there to welcome me. Doc and George spent a lot of time showing me around the department, the instrumentation, their hidden treasures that were in drawers all over the place, and some of those are probably still in HT, that I could use in my courses that I would be teaching. The feeling that I got from that first meeting was that educating students is generally a team effort at Monmouth. So even though the HT was not particularly welcoming, I thought that teaching at Monmouth might be okay. And teaching at Monmouth has been more than okay. It has been the best and most interesting job I could ever hope to have. Every day I have the opportunity to learn something new from this community, from my colleagues in the department who come up with interesting new projects to do. Right now, Brad Sturgeon and I are working with students to study the microbiomes from various environments, and maybe have a good reason to go to the Bahamas one day. So we don't just do lab work. And he gave me actually data today that he'd been processing. He's on sabbatical this semester, so it's really cool. Anyway, to the students who have an interest in a topic that leads to the development of a new major or a new course, and to the alumni who share what projects they are working on in graduate school. I've had the opportunity to work with faculty across campus on projects like the Sophia program, where we try to instill a sense of academic community in the incoming students before they even start classes. And I've learned so much about how students can learn by doing in many different disciplines. This is what has made my job fun, and I hope through my efforts that the students also realize that the interaction with their professors and peers can significantly enrich their academic experience. And I hope this makes them realize that learning is fun too. Finally, as I've been teaching this year, I was on sabbatical in the spring, so I had a short COVID year. I remind myself that students and faculty were deprived of this academic community for almost a year and a half, and reestablishing this normal part of the Monmouth education may take some time. While Zoom was a useful tool for communicating, it was incredibly hard to build a sense of community through it. A couple of weeks ago, I found myself talking to an advisee who was utterly dejected about her progress this semester, so much so that she was thinking of transferring. Probing more deeply, I found she had just been studying mostly on her own, not talking to other students or to the professors she asked for classes this semester. In other words, following many of the protocols that they were told to follow last year. I suggested that perhaps she should start studying with others because learning doesn't often work well in isolation. I am pleased to report that when I saw her this week for her advising meeting, that she had taken my advice and was much happier, although the results aren't in if she's doing better in her classes because she had tests this week. However, I think the lesson is clear that teaching and learning at Monmouth is best done as a team effort, and I feel grateful to be part of this team. Thank you very much for this award.
Monmouth College's highest honor, the Hall of Achievement, recognizes alumni who have demonstrated extraordinary leadership, service, or professional achievement. While the Whiteman family created the Hall of Achievement to inspire present and future students by providing exemplary role models and to honor the outstanding and varied achievements of past graduates. Ralph and Martha Whiteman are here tonight to help us celebrate our two new additions to this distinguished and accomplished award. Like many of our students, the first of this year's two inductees into the Hall of Achievement benefited from an internship and from off-campus study. Her internship came about through a family connection to a man who was alongside Jesse Owens as he won 4 gold medals at the politically charged 1936 Olympic Games in Germany. That man was Ralph Metcalf, a medal-winning teammate of Owens who went on to serve 4 terms as a U.S. congressman. The former Chicago 3rd Ward alderman helped young Maddie Hunter secure a political internship. While a Monmouth student, Maddie also spent an impactful semester in Washington, D.C. On campus, she learned valuable lessons from professors such as Roy McClintock, who encouraged her to be involved and, as she made her way, to reach back and pull somebody with her, a philosophy she's carried with her during her years of public service. A Democratic state senator from Chicago's 3rd District since 2003, Maddie serves in leadership as the Majority Caucus Chair and is the Vice Chair of the Ethics and Executive Appointments Committees. She serves on several other committees, including the powerful Executive Committee, and is a member of the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus. More than 400 bills regarding breast cancer, childhood vaccines, healthcare access, substance abuse treatment, youth employment, environmental issues, and education have been passed during Maddie's career. She also served for years as Vice President of the Human Resources Development Institute, where she developed and managed programs focusing on abused women and children, behavioral health, youth, and ex-offenders. Despite all of those responsibilities, Maddie still finds her time for her alma mater as a guest speaker and mentor, for which we are extremely grateful. It is my honor to present Senator Maddie Hunter for induction into the Monmouth College Hall of Achievement.
Thank you, Hannah. Good evening, Monmouth family. I am honored to be here with you all tonight, and I am grateful to be named by my alma mater's Hall of Fame achievement, the highest honor the college can bestow. I'd like to thank you, President Wyatt, trustees, Alumni Board, faculty, and students for recognizing me. This honor is especially dear to me because being raised in public housing of Chicago, I got a front seat to the many injustices that occurred simply because of the color of your skin and what zip code you were born in. Many children who looked like me were not expected to succeed. Chicago is one of the most segregated cities in America, and many discriminatory policies were designed to keep people who look like me in poor, underserved communities. Underfunding created disparities not only in housing, but in healthcare, education, and employment. Even as a young girl, I knew that I could not sit back and watch this happen. I made it my life's mission to do what I could do to help bring injustice to those unjust systems. So I started getting involved in local organizations as a grassroots organizer, combating these things. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to be in life, but I knew I had to do something, and that I would need a college education in order to achieve it. So I chose Monmouth because it felt like a safe place to grow up and learn about myself and my interests. And to be very frank with you, my mother told me I had to come here to follow my brother Donnie Hunter, who wound up playing basketball and became captain of the basketball team. But the other and through my journeys here, I learned about the structures of politics and government, as well as the kind of leader I wanted to become. Monmouth basically taught me the importance of engaging with complex ideas, embracing the plurality of worldwide views, and embodying integrity and respect. Hannah mentioned that my involvement with the Washington House program. So through the Washington House program, which is known today as the Washington, D.C. program, under the leadership of my favorite professor, Dr. Roy McClintock, I was able to intern with one of the prestigious politicians in D.C., and that was Ralph Metcalf. And he had actually mentored me ever since I was 15 years old. I couldn't even vote. And he created an assistant precinct captain position for me, and I wasn't even able to vote at that time. But which further instilled me in a passion and to have a passion for politics. After many years of working with substance abuse treatment, violence prevention, and governmental relations, I went on to become a state senator. And so for 20 years, I have served on many committees, sponsored hundreds of bills, and now I'm, as was mentioned earlier, I am the Majority Caucus Chair in the Senate. And through attrition and retirement and everything, I'm now out of 59 senators, I am number 4 in leadership. I am grateful to be in a position to serve my constituents and advocate for the reform Illinois desperately needs across social spectrums. Though my constituency is primarily on the south side of Chicago, but it also includes River North, downtown Chicago, as well as the financial district, the Scotts will always be a community dear to my heart because my whole political career started right here on campus. Thank you again for this immense honor. I will continue to make you proud and uplift my community. And as always, remember that every day is a great day to be a Scott. Thank you very much.
Tonight's second inductee into the Monmouth College Hall of Achievement has earned, like many of our graduates through the years, the title of Doctor in front of his name. But did you know that Frederick Caskell, a member of the class of 1967, is also a super doctor? Rick lives and works in New York, where the New York Times regularly recognizes super doctors, a list of physicians who have gone above and beyond in their respective fields, earning the high regard of their peers. In Rick's case, he's gone above and beyond in the field of nephrology, which focuses on the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the kidney. Within that field, Rick is particularly interested in what could most easily be described as kids' kidneys. The harder official description is the physiology and pathophysiology of normal and abnormal development and function of the kidneys throughout the critical periods of growth and maturation, extending into the adolescence and young adulthood. Rick has been honored many times for his work, in addition to the New York Times. The past president of the American Society of Pediatric Nephrology, he has received the Fellowship Award in Pediatric Nephrology from the National Institutes of Health and the National Kidney Foundation of New York. Rick continues to be a part of studies supported by the National Institutes of Health, helping the medical field determine causes for chronic kidney diseases in children and how it affects their growth and neurocognitive development. It is my great pleasure to welcome into the Hall of Achievement a Monmouth graduate whose life work is making a tremendous difference, Dr. Frederick Caskell. Rick is unable to be with us tonight, but he has taped a video message we will share now.
Dear friends and colleagues at Monmouth College, I am honored to be an inductee of Monmouth College Hall of Achievement for Homecoming 2021 and wish that I could be there with you in person. I am particularly pleased for the other honorees and especially to my 1967 classmate, Dr. Wendell Schauman, for being a distinguished alumnus and his commitment to Monmouth, and to Gina Corbin Alcorn for her unwavering service to Monmouth College. Each time I have visited Monmouth over the years, I have been so moved by its growth and new initiatives that serve the mission of education, citizenship, and diversity. During these trying times, I have often reflected on my journey in education and how truly fortunate I was to have been at Monmouth and mentored by Dr. Robert H. Buchholz, who introduced me to the wonders of biology and science. I would not be where I am today without his support and belief in me at an early stage of the journey, and for this I am forever grateful. Dr. Buchholz represents the best of what Monmouth College has to offer in his vision to see the potential in all of us and making sure we stay the course. Again, I would like to thank the Monmouth College Alumni Association, Hannah Mayer and Jennifer Armstrong, and President Clarence Wyatt and First Lady Stone, and all the alumni, faculty, staff, and students who continue to light this candle for Monmouth College. Thank you and be well.
First, I want to congratulate all of this year's award recipients on their accomplishments and and to thank them for the honor they bring to the college through their lives of service and leadership. My wife, Lobe, who is in San Antonio caring for our daughter, asked me to share her congratulations and thanks as well. Among the many great events and activities that make up a year in the life of Monmouth College, my three favorite are the matriculation ceremony, commencement, and the Alumni Impact Awards. These three occasions form a continuum, an arc that moves through our lives. At the matriculation ceremony, we welcome a new group of students into, in the words of our mission statement, this caring community of learners, as they enter into a new stage in the arc of their life's path. At commencement, we affirm their achievements as students and rejoice with them as they continue their travels along that arc, seeking, again in the words of the mission statement, to realize their full potential. And at this ceremony, the Alumni Impact Awards, we recognize and celebrate how that arc has ascended, again in the words of the mission statement, by having lived meaningful lives, pursued successful careers, and through service and leadership shaped their communities and world. At this ceremony, we recognize how Monmouth College changes the arc not only of the lives we celebrate here, but of all those who are part of the Monmouth College community. At this ceremony, we also celebrate how these lives change the arc of so many others. That is the deep and enduring mission of Monmouth College. For your service to that mission, I thank you all.
Let's give tonight's award winners one more round of applause. It is occasions like tonight where we are reminded of just how powerful a Monmouth college education is and just how big an impact a Fighting Scot can make. We are all extremely proud of the accomplishments of each of our honorees and wish them continued success. Before we all leave, I want to thank everyone again for joining us this evening. I would encourage you to continue in the celebration tonight and throughout the weekend. As a reminder, you are invited to enjoy the Student Spirit Shout, which will begin at 8 o'clock at April Zorn Memorial Stadium. We hope to see you at many of tomorrow's events as well. As a reminder, the game doesn't begin until 2 p.m. tomorrow, but make sure you join us on campus early as we have an excellent schedule planned. Many thanks for joining us and congratulations to all who are being honored this weekend. Have a great homecoming.